Vasisthasana, or side plank pose, is a great pose for strengthening your arms, working your core, getting your legs integrated into the pose as well. And it's lots of different ways to work on Vasisthasana. So let's say one key piece that you want to know about Vasisthasana is that your supporting arm can be at a slight angle. Your hand a little bit out in front of your shoulder rather than directly in underneath it. When we have our hand directly underneath our shoulder and make our arm, make that a perpendicular line, puts a lot of compression into the wrist joint, and it's a little more demanding into the shoulder joint. So instead of looking at this pose as a 90-degree angle between the floor and your arm, look at this pose as a 90-degree angle between your arm and your torso. It's a little easier on the wrist for most of us, a little easier in the shoulder to keep pushing down strongly. You can modify this with a foot out in front. You can also modify this with your bottom leg down. You can play around with which one is best for you. Eventually, this pose, we work our legs to be stacked, and one of the common things that I see when we do bring the legs together is the feet kind of lose their sense of intelligence. Arm balances are very difficult to stay mindful in because they're demanding. Your heart rate increases, and we sort of get a mental kind of, let's just get to the pose. And so sometimes we just lose our clarity in those heightened positions. And the point that I want to make with this, if you look at my feet in this one, is a lot of times our feet are kind of just not that clear, sort of hanging on to the floor. Instead, bring your insides of your feet together, and that top edge of your pinky edge of your foot, if you pull it towards your hips, what that activation on the outside of your foot is going to do is also activate the outside line of your leg and get some tone and support out of your legs so that they become integrated into the pose. Now, when we take the leg up, a lot of times it's going pretty well. You know, you've got your Vasisthasana, you're working your feet now, it's going well. You take the leg up and the whole pose sort of disintegrates. A great substitution / modification for taking the leg up is to work in Anantasana. In fact, here it is as a variation of the one we just did, Vasisthasana stage 1. And you can work stage 2, grabbing your big toe and moving progressively towards straight. You don't need to be in a rush to bring your leg down or anything like that, just a vertical arm, like so. And this starts to give us the same shape and the same sets of actions that we apply here. Bend your leg, stages towards straight. Another thing that happens for a lot of people in Vasisthasana is that the distance between their hand and their bottom foot is closer than it needs to be. And this makes the pose quite a bit harder. So if you're having trouble getting your bottom leg straight or your top leg straight in the pose, check your foundation. Because if your hand and your bottom foot are pretty close, it's going to lift your hips high and it's going to put way more distance between your 2 feet, making it much harder to do the pose in terms of the flexibility requirement in your legs. And so one way we find that placement is down dog with a little bit of a wiggle back of your feet will generally put you into a pretty good position. All right, let's see if those help you out. Have fun. Namaste.